Hi, this is Jenna.
And this is Heather.
And this is Conspiracies Unlocked. And today we are unlocking...
Antarctica!
Again?
Yes! We have to talk about Antarctica. There's so much buzz about Antarctica right now that it cannot be ignored.
And it's so large. In general.
It is
That whole
large.
fucking continent is, like, huge.
And
there's probably so many lost civilizations just within Antarctica.
well, if we go back to our episode about Admiral Byrd's claims, yeah, deep down
They're
is
still there.
The hollow earth,
Yeah.
and there is people who live, people, aliens, beings, we don't know exactly, that live deep down in Antarctica. And actually, this episode is going to touch a little bit on Middle Earth, so...
That is so interesting. I can't wait to hear about it.
So we're going to start back with our whistleblower. His name is Eric Hecker. And around June 15th of this year, he actually came out as a whistleblower claiming that Antarctica has an air traffic control station for UFOs.
Wow.
And the technology is so powerful, it can produce earthquakes.
Wow. Why? The air traffic control can produce earthquakes? Why?
Because there's more that meets the eye. Apparently, it's not just one thing, it's multiple things, and that's what we're going to get into today.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, Eric...
Wait, would that mean that every time there's an earthquake? Yeah, and you might answer this later. Every time there's an earthquake, could it be a flying UFO that has landed in Antarctica?
It's possible, but it's more possible this would be closer technology to HARP and Project Bluebeam, where they can direct it to a certain location, and it's really precise. And if they say, okay, there's going to be an earthquake in Australia, guess what? There's an earthquake in Australia.
Wow.
It's very, planned out, and almost like weather modification. Like, you know how they can put the barium in the sky, and they can, with the planes, and they can modify, and they can do cloud seeding, which we've talked about in your episode also. This is around the same, it's just another method that they can control the earth, and it being with earthquakes.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's a lot of speculation, but because he is a whistleblower and he worked there for so long, it's also like eyewitness. It's not just speculation. Some of what he's saying is eyewitness, and some of it is like what he speculates, because obviously he didn't see everything that was going on, but he has a really good idea of what was happening, and that's why he finally thought he had enough information to come forward with, to let the world know.
So what happened?
So basically, he's stating it can produce earthquakes. A little bit about Eric, just so we can know, okay, who is this man? This is our source. The whistleblower is my source, because I took this information from interviews that he did. So he was selected in 2010 to work at the South Pole in Antarctica. He was hired by a third-party contractor, and that contractor was the National Science Foundation. During his employment, he worked for Raytheon Polar Services for 1 year. His title was a tradesman and a firefighter. He had a lead role, and he had higher clearance than his crew. So he was like one of the main people that he was able to
see more.
Yeah. His access to facilities was unlimited, and he could explore all the buildings, because this specific, I guess I'll call it a base. It's not a base, but their working environment is Antarctica, so it's not like a traditional, like you can just drive down the road. I mean, it's like a base. Yeah. So
he actually lived in Antarctica.
Yeah, you would live there and everything.
Wow. So there are people that live there full time. I didn't realize that.
Well, yeah, they would have to for their scientific experiments. They have to live there, and
I mean, I knew people went there for a couple months at a time, but I didn't realize that there was actually I guess there'd have to be people that work there and live there.
Yeah, and he was there at least 1 year from the information I have so far. that he lived there. He was able to explore all of the buildings. After working there and observing the higher level intel, he decided to come forward because he had many concerns that he felt like the world needed to know. That it was like, this is something that could potentially be dangerous for mankind and the human race and just the world in general, and that this could cause serious problems for the earth.
That's crazy.
I mean, obviously, if you're creating earthquakes, it's not just you're hurting wildlife, you're hurting humans, you're hurting like the geographic like landscape nature of the earth. You could be potentially, hurting water could be, potentially polluted if certain things like get in minerals, and there's so much more than just, it's not just an earthquake. It's like the ramifications could just go so far that it could be catastrophic. If they start doing these earthquakes all over simultaneously, what if there's like an earthquake at a precise time all over? Like, what would that do to the earth?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It can, I mean, he's not saying that could happen. That's just me thinking, but like, conspiracy side of it. Like, how, if they can pinpoint it and they can do it like that.
Yeah. They could cause, like, mass mayhem.
Hysteria. It could just be, like, so many things. The whole
earth would shake, literally.
Literally
like,
shake.
Literally shake.
Yeah. So he stated that while working for Raytheon, he was stationed at a place in the South Pole called the Ice Cube. So that was the name of the building, was Ice Cube.
Cute.
It was, the Ice Cube Observatory. Sorry. Ice Cube Observatory, which was more specifically located in the Munson Scott South Pole Station. The Ice Cube is a particle detector that detects a particle being emitted from the South Pole called neutrinos. So the neutrinos are being detected and being studied. Those neutrinos are basically an abundant particle in the entire universe that has a mass that is extremely small. Scientists are still not sure of the atomic weight of neutrinos, and every time an atomic nuclei come together, like in the sun, or break apart in a nuclear reactor, they produce neutrinos. Even bananas emit this. They come from the natural radioactivity of the potassium in the fruit.
Wow.
So they're doing a lot of studies on these neutrinos because
they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. They're, like it says, like the research shows, they're the most abundant particle in the entire universe.
That's
and they're
crazy.
Here on our planet. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. So obviously they're going to want to study those. So that was what they were studying at this Ice Cube particle observatory particle detector. Once produced, these particles almost never interact with any other matter. Tens of trillions of neutrinos from the sun stream through our bodies every second, but you don't feel them. So you know how you can feel like the warmth from the sun, and you can feel like it's been very hot here. I mean, we've been all sweating buckets.
Dying.
Like, we've all been dying here in Southern California. It's summertime. It's very hot. You can feel the sun. In where we are right now, we can feel the sun, okay? You can feel the heat. Now, with that heat from the sun, its neutrinos are going through our body. But even scientists don't exactly know everything about neutrinos. And the neutrinos, they don't bother us. They don't like change anything within our bodies, like chemical or molecular or like anything with us. They just stream through us, like some kind of ray, or like it's a particle.
That's so weird. Yeah,
it's a small particle, so it's like almost like we're like not invisible, we're translucent. Like they can go through us.
Wow,
isn't that weird?
That's super weird. That's weird. So it's almost like ghosts or something that can go through us.
Yeah, because they're so small that I didn't even think about that until right now. Because we are like a solid mass.
Yeah.
And they are so small they can go through our body. And there's tens of trillions with a T that go through our body every second.
What?
Yeah. This is science. This is crazy.
Yo, this is science, bitch.
No, but this is what they're studying. This is what he is saying. Like,
how
that
do you
he
even
is
study
studying.
something that's so translucent?
How do they even see them?
How do they even know they're there?
I don't know. I don't know. But this is why scientists have such an interest in them, because they travel freely throughout the universe. So forces like magnetism, gravity, they have no effect on them as they move. So you have to think, okay, they go through the universe, right? Our Earth has like a magnetism and
magnetic field.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it can just go through it. That doesn't even bother it. It doesn't like, you know, like if an
so it can go up
comet
like
or something is trying to come at us and it could be like bumped off from like, you
the
know,
atmosphere.
or it could be pulled in or whatever. No, none of that affects it. It just keeps going wherever it wants. It just goes. Just keeps going. I don't know where it goes. Once it goes
where's it trying to go?
I don't know.
What is it trying to do?
That's why they want to study these. So you can use them to map things like the core of the sun, or even the death of a star, or a planet being consumed by a black hole. So that's what scientists, because they do know some things about them, that's what they have used them as their study. They're studying these things, such as, you know, the core of the sun, death of a star, and how black holes, planets are consumed by black holes. What they don't tell you is what they can do and what else they're emitting from. So that's like the science part. I mean, it's all science, but that's like the part of it from, you know, like a science perspective of what neutrinos are, how they move, and who's studying them and why, and probably other facilities are studying them also, but we're focusing on this facility in Antarctica. There actually came forward this whistleblower, and he stated that UFOs and UAPs emit large amounts of neutrinos as they fly. So
that would make sense.
Yeah, so the
I wonder if that's how, I wonder if because they have, I wonder if they're like surrounded by, they somehow harness the neutrinos and they like somehow make it like an invisible floaty shield with the neutrinos, like enough to where they can go through the atmosphere and it doesn't affect them because they have enough neutrinos around them.
And they're abundant. They're the most abundant particle in the universe. So
I wonder if they're able to harness them somehow and bring them to the UFO in order to get it through.
I was thinking that maybe the UFOs were using it as fuel somehow, and then like, you know how like we have like an exhaust in our car and it emits it almost like an exhaust.
Yeah.
I kind of like when I was reading this and I was
like
learning,
it's like Stardust leaving.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like
I don't
glitter
know.
leaving. That'd be so cute.
But yeah, I know, how funny, right? So this makes the South Pole an air traffic control station for UFOs and UAPs. Eric Hecker, this whistleblower, claims that they use this for alien UFOs, UAPs, and even our own top secret aircrafts, which were reverse engineered from aliens and UFOs. So he is saying, yes, it's being used. It's not like the conspiracy side of it. I mean, I guess it's a conspiracy if you don't believe him, whatever. But he is saying, like, yeah, this is what they used it for. Eric also says these neutrinos are being used for faster than light communication. And it's believed that these neutrinos travel faster than the speed of light. However, that has not been proven as fact and is only a scientific theory at this time, as they're still learning more about them. It is believed that UFOs are using the neutrinos to move and fly faster than the speed of light, which makes sense because every time you hear about a UFO, it'd be like, oh, it's hovering in the clouds and we saw it, and then all of a sudden it shoots up out of nowhere and it's gone in space. You don't see it again, and then it shoots back down, and it is like in like a blink of an eye, it moves and it's gone.
Yeah.
So it kind of adds up that it could be, if they're moving faster than the speed of light, and if they're using this as some kind of propulsion or some kind of like fuel or some kind of...
Yeah, to like, they somehow have to harness it and then use it.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even...
I don't know,
we don't know how it's harnessed. Like,
yeah.
I don't even think this report that I'm, like, that he doesn't even know how it's harnessed. Like, they're still studying it. We don't know any of that. But it kind of, I'm like, okay, it's adding up, you know? The scientists have no idea where these neutrinos are coming from in Antarctica. And they only have educated guesses and theories so far. They have been studying what they believe these are emitting the particles, and they still don't have like clear-cut answers as to where they're coming from. But they know they're coming from like the universe, so they're just abundant everywhere. But there's a lot in this specific area of Antarctica. Mm-hmm. Like more, I guess they can track the level, or they can see the level of how much is in the area. And there's a concentrated a lot in Antarctica. They don't know why. That's one reason why they're in Antarctica, because they're like, why is there so many here? Yes, this is the most abundant particle in the universe, but why Antarctica? Why here?
Yeah.
Like,
what's so special about there, other than the fact that, like, the subterranean culture or civilization down there, that could be the aliens, that could be why they're emitting so much, because they're already down there.
Maybe because they already have that technology,
they already have it,
and the ability to harness it.
So they're, like, bringing it all to them. Mm-hmm. They're, like, pulling it like a magnet.
That's actually a really good thought. I didn't even think about that. We are going to talk about Middle Earth and the subterranean culture, or like cultures and civilization. Yeah. Well, it's a culture too. Yeah, culture, civilization. But Eric also claims that scientists use pods known as DOMS, DOMS, or digital optical molecules. These neutrinos can pass through matter without interacting with it, just like it passes through us without interacting it with us or harming us. And we don't even know it's happening. So it passes through the DOMS in the same way, but the DOMS collect data. But in rare cases, they can interact with nuclei of the ice, at which point they create charged particles of light, which is a type of radiation. And I'm going to really have a hard time with this word, but it's charnickel. So it's like charnickel radiation. This is what the DOMS pick up. So that's another thing. They're in Antarctica. There's a lot of ice. Mm-hmm. So this is a rare interaction because there's so much ice. Like you said, Antarctica is so massive. Yeah. And it's so many, how many miles of ice? I don't even know. There's like a lot of ice in Antarctica. So it kind of makes sense that if the nuclei are going to react to the particles and create this type of radiation which emits light, that it would be a place like Antarctica. Yeah. You know? There could be other places all over, like, the world that we don't even know of, too, that are doing the same. Other places that have a lot of ice. Like Russia? Russia or Greenland, or just, like, yeah, any place that has a lot of ice. This could be possibly happening.
But wouldn't they talk to each other?
The different countries? Yeah. Well, you have to remember, Antarctica, they signed a treaty. I don't have the date in front of me, but there was an Antarctica treaty
there was the
signed,
treaty
and there was many different
So you
countries.
would think that everybody would be... So if it was happening in Russia, this, like, abundance of this particle, that they would be communicating with each other in some way. Even though maybe with politics, they're not communicating. But I feel like scientists, like, put aside the politics to better advance human civilization, if that makes sense.
No, it does. And you know what? There's probably a lot of things. Obviously, there is a lot of things that we don't even know, so that could be happening. But, you know, we don't... The general population, like us, we're not going to know about it. And the whistleblower is only going to say, like, what he can say from Antarctica. But it is a possibility because of the abundance of the ice. I mean, it does make a lot of sense. So what they did is they placed 5,160 of these domes up to 2,500 meters deep into the Antarctic ice. The domes transmit electricity at 2,047 volts each. Eric claims when he worked there in 2010 and 2011, they started operations and maintenance and fired up the project. This was on the detector array and elevated portion. It took them 2 times to get the target correctly. He claims that the first startup caused an earthquake in Christchurch, New Zealand.
What?
So this is where we get into like the whole conspiracy of like where the earthquakes are taking place. This specifically was Christchurch, New Zealand.
I wonder if that's on the exact opposite end of where they were, because New Zealand is really north. And I wonder if he was on this, like, the north end of that, like, if we were to do the latitude, longitude type thing.
Yeah, I would be really curious to look it up and see exactly where it is, because that would... It would
That'd
help
be interesting.
A lot,
to like
get
see.
A better perspective of how this thing works, how far it can travel.
I wanna see. Hold on, guys, really quickly.
Yeah,
I'm gonna Google
check.
it really quickly.
Okay.
All right, so I just Googled it, and it is the other side of, what is it called? The Christchurch?
Christchurch,
New Zealand is Spain. So that's not correct. What I was trying to... My theory is debunked that quickly. Just boom, done. But we always want to unlock the truth, so we had to unlock that truth for myself.
Yeah, and I couldn't picture on the map where it was located.
It's so far.
In relation to Antarctica. So
it's actually really close to Antarctica, and I think that I was going more like along the same latitude line than longitude. Like
it would be
instead
longitude,
of
not
latitude.
Okay.
I think that's what I was looking at instead of exactly. Yeah, in my head I was picturing it different. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Go on with what you're saying.
So, at that time, they discovered that it was also an earthquake-generating device. Because up until that moment, they did not know that.
Wow.
So that's when that specific earthquake took place, and that's when that was revealed.
Wouldn't it be crazy if it was just a coincidence?
No, for their scientific research, they did determine that it is.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's not conspiracy. Like,
okay.
that is...
They know
I mean,
for sure,
I don't have the data and has to why, but they did determine that. That's how they determined that it was an earthquake.
And it was pinpointed straight to New Zealand.
Pinpointed exactly
That's
to...
crazy.
And did they target...
New Zealand, yeah.
I don't believe so.
Why would they? New Zealand is
Yeah.
very, I feel like New Zealand's very, like, neutral.
Yeah, I actually have family from New Zealand. My uncle Craig is from New Zealand. And
That's fun.
Yeah, and my aunt has gone there, and my cousins and stuff, and I've seen pictures and stuff, and it's like really beautiful, and it's just like they're very chill and calm, and it's like island vibes.
I feel like it would be very like
relaxed.
The country itself. I feel like it would be very like Switzerland, like where Switzerland is very like non-angry.
Like Hawaii.
Oh, really? Like Hawaiian vibes, but like as far as like their politics and stuff, like on that end of it, their economy and stuff like that, I feel like it's a very like neutral, very Switzerland vibe.
Yeah, I don't know anything about their politics or anything, but I mean, just from
I could be totally wrong. I'm sure
that they
this
are.
is just very speculation on me. I like
well, they're very like I can see them not even like caring about politics, but I'm probably way off on that. But I just know like the pictures that my family posts like on Facebook and stuff. Like they go there, you know, because they have family.
We should go there.
I know.
I want to go everywhere though. So
yeah. So like I have family from New Zealand, so. That's fucked up because they're fucking with family over there. What the hell?
Now it's personal, damn it.
So any of our New Zealand friends out there,
sorry
hi
about
if you're
that.
my cousins. I don't know if you're listening. Hello from California. Anyway, yeah. So they did determine it was a earthquake generated device.
There you go.
And it could be, but this is the dun dun dun. Like, not only earthquakes bad enough, right?
Yeah.
Now they're talking about how can they use this as a weapon of war.
Oh no.
a weapon of mass destruction.
Oh no.
How
That's
much
not
power
good.
can they get by using this device?
Yeah.
So from then on, the military-industrial complex had a heightened interest in what they're studying in Antarctica. And now the military wants to know what the fuck is going on. Because this is scientists.
Yeah.
And because of the treaty, I mean, I don't know what countries all these different scientists were from, but we all know that there is an Antarctic treaty, and there's shit that you cannot do there. There's like rules, okay?
Yeah, of course.
So I'm not saying they crossed any lines, but it's kind of sounding like it with, now you're making earthquakes, weapon of mass destruction, weapon of war. I mean, what is really going on in Antarctica? There's also another building in the area. This building is called the Clean Air Sector at the Atmospheric Research Observatory. It's near the Ice Cube Observatory. There, Eric was witness to different studies and tests going on with something that's similar to what we've talked about before. This was a high-powered green laser beam being emitted into the atmosphere and beyond all of our atmospheres into space.
Real space.
Real space.
Wow.
Past, like, what we have, like, 5 atmospheres.
Yeah.
Like exosphere or whatever is, like, the last one, I believe,
Yeah.
if I remember
Yeah.
correctly. And it went beyond that into space.
Wow.
Which was thought to be a secondary form of communication and or possibly a weapon of war. They would be communicating with, obviously, like, probably extraterrestrial life, a weapon of war. I mean, if they have some kind of laser beam that can beam that far, they can clearly beam anywhere they want in the world.
Yeah.
What this beam emits, I don't know.
That's crazy.
What it can be used for, I don't know. But it's alarming. In addition, Eric claims there's an unknown energy source that's being used, which goes way back before the Antarctic Treaty. He didn't find out about this unknown energy source entirely. But from what he's heard from other eyewitnesses who have yet to come forward, and just from being there, like, on the property and being between these buildings with this high level of clearance, he has high speculation that it could be nuclear, which would date the unknown source before the Antarctic Treaty, and it would be around World War II.
Oh, wow.
So, I didn't write down the date of the Antarctic Treaty. Maybe we should just pause and get that date.
All right, hold on.
Okay.
Okay, so we looked it up, and the Antarctic Treaty System was signed on December 1st, 1959, and it became effective June 23rd, 1961. And your turn, Heather. Go on. I have the information. I'm like an encyclopedia over here.
Yeah,
I'm just
no.
kidding. I have the Google. I have control of the computer right now. That's the only reason.
No, thank you for looking that up, because I did put a little side note to write the date, and I failed to do so. So thank you so much, because we want to be accurate in what we're saying here, since we are unlocking the truth. That's a very important detail about the Antarctic Treaty, because, like the whistleblower was kind of speculating, yeah, World War II was at the end of the 40s, but it's in that, there's a range there, there's a spectrum, and there's good speculation that it could have been German technology, because if we go into the Germans, there's a lot of conspiracies and thoughts that they did end up in Antarctica for whatever reason with UFO technology, and scientists.
There's a lot.
Yeah, scientists went to specifically the German side, not only, scientists from all over the world, but there has been a lot of talk about German scientists, Nazi scientists that went to Antarctica.
Brad watches there's a TV show on Netflix that's like, where's Adolf Hitler or something like that, or because there's a theory that he escaped
Mm-hmm.
And they have found this, like, bunker in, I don't even know where because I wasn't paying attention to Brad speaking. But I love my husband very much. But
poor Brad.
Yeah, and he'll tell me things, and it kind of like I listen, but yeah.
You were probably like talking to the kids at the same time.
I know.
And you were like,
okay, bye. Yeah. But he's very excited for if and when we do that episode on like where's Adolf Hitler, because he like has so much information about it.
Or the pyramids in Antarctica.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that on this one, too.
Yeah. But he's very, like, so he would know all about, like, Hitler hiding out and the Germans hiding out in Antarctica and all of that. So whenever we do that episode, he's going to be super excited to come on and do that.
Would he come on and do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is great, because this is, like, the
he's very passionate about, like, when we do the politic ones and stuff, and he'll be like, don't forget to say this, and he's very passionate about, like, just, like, when we do, because I've been working on the electric car and versus a gas car and all that.
That's a huge
and
one,
he is super passionate about that and about, the damage that it's doing to the environment of making these electric batteries. So there's certain things where he's like, you need to have me come on because I will say everything totally unbiased. And I'm like, yeah, no, you won't. Like, he'll be the most biased person in the world. What are you talking about?
It's so funny because then, like, people that we know, because, like, I have a friend that he's like, oh, yeah, I need to be your guys' producer. And then Brad's like, oh, I need to come on and do this story. And then people are constantly emailing us stuff like, have you seen this? And it's like, we get a lot of stuff from family and friends that we need to like filter through.
Yeah, no, and I do, and that's how I get some of my episodes is from family and friends. It's like, have you looked into that? And I'm like, oh, okay. And then followers will message us, and I'll be like, okay, cool, let's look into this. Like, sure. And so some of these episodes are because people have emailed us, and friends and family have directly like been like, hey, can you check this out? Can you check this out?
So we definitely need to have Brad on for part 2 of this because I'm getting to the end of this one here, but this is kind of like segueing into what you're talking about because my end of my thought leads into that.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah, because it's all
connected.
Together.
It's all connected.
So what they also are theorizing is it could be extraterrestrial, which is going back to the unknown energy source. And that they can use this unknown energy source because it is basically not in the verbiage of the Antarctic Treaty. So it's kind of like a gray area saying that because I haven't read the verbiage in the Antarctic Treaty, so maybe I should have because I would be able to better define that. But whatever's in the Antarctic Treaty, it's basically making it possible that it could be extraterrestrial because maybe they didn't even cover what if a UFO comes. I don't know, I haven't read the Antarctic Treaty. But they're thinking that it could be this because there's another unknown energy source. Not even the neutrinos. There's something else that they're starting to study at this second location.
What?
Yeah, and they still haven't, like, they're still in the process, and that's why he's coming forward saying, like, this is beyond us. Like, they can make earthquakes. They have green laser beams. This is a highway for UFOs. Yeah. Now this is unknown source. Where is this unknown source coming from? So people have came forward, like conspiracy theorists, I guess you would call them, and just general population just kind of speculating. And they are actually thinking that this unknown energy source, and we both thought about it in the beginning, you even said it before I even got to this point, that it could be produced by beings living in Middle Earth.
Yep.
And that's the first thing you said before I even got there. Yeah. That's why I was like, we're going to cycle back to that.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what the technology they have or don't have. Yeah. I mean, let's say they're really there. Let's say that's a real thing. It's not a conspiracy. Let's just go with, hypothetically, yes.
If there is people down there and there's a civilization down there, we have no idea like anything about them. other than what Admiral Byrd has come out and said, or not even come out and said, but he documented in his diary. That's very interesting, because that is where everything could be emitting from, and they actually might not be even from our world. They could be from, like, an alien from somewhere else, and they could be still beaming to the fucking mothership. You know how we're like, oh, we die at 80 years old. Maybe 80 years old to these alien beings are very young. Dogs. Dogs live, for 8 to 15 years, 20 years, depending on what kind of dog.
Per year.
But per year, it's like 7 human years per one dog year, you know? And so maybe they have something like that, to where, like, for us, it's like going so slow, but for them, for us, it's going so fast, but for them, maybe they live to be like 500 or 600 years old or longer, and so...
And what if their medicine, their tech...
everything is further...
What if they have those, like, little bed things they can lay in if they have, like, a sickness and
cancer,
what
show was that on?
Like,
what movie was that? Was that on The 100?
I forget.
That was The 100. I think that was The 100.
And they can, like, heal themselves.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
That's all kind of
sci-fi. We have no idea,
I mean, it is kind of aliens.
But aliens are sci-fi.
Yeah.
That's what started sci-fi.
Mm-hmm. So, if neutrinos are emitted from UFOs or UAPs, as they are more commonly spoken about in media, based on Admiral Byrd's accounts, like we said, inner Earth beings have obviously some type of technology that is beyond us. And this is where I was getting to the pyramids. So one of the things that Admiral Byrd had stated that he saw was pyramids made of crystals. And remember how we talked about quartz crystals in one of our episodes? I'm trying to remember which episode
Atlantis.
it was. Atlantis.
Bermuda Triangle.
Yes. And that the quartz crystals, they can hold data.
Yeah.
They can store data, and they can emit data.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not data, might not be the right word. I think data is the right word, but they can store
information,
and they can release information in, I guess, certain frequencies. I don't really know how it works.
Well, that's cool, because I don't know how technology works, so that's.
But this is
this is
a
beyond.
Mineral, but this is a mineral.
Yeah.
This is made from the earth. This is a quartz crystal that is over time, millions of years, like a diamond or something. Like a rock changes. It's a mineral.
Yeah.
And that it could be from the pyramids in inner Earth, and the pyramids are emitting this unknown energy source, because it's the freaking, like, the Bermuda Triangle, or like any other source we don't know about. It could be from the quartz crystals.
Wow.
Makes me want to do a whole thing on, like, crystals.
Oh, that would be fun. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Bring out my crystal collection, my rock collection.
Yeah.
Coco's rock collection. My son Cody has a rock collection.
Well, and we made that necklace. Cody and
I
made a necklace.
Yeah.
We all made necklaces.
Yeah, last week we took
crystals, and then we took
yarn. Cody found a rock outside, 2 rocks, and he said, Mommy, I want to make a necklace for you and for me. And so then I was like, perfect, Heather's coming over. Let's do it. She'll know how to do this. And she did, and we did. And, he wore it for a couple days. And I made mine, and I brought out his rock collection that he forgot he had, that we had mined in, like, either Tennessee, Knott's Berry Farm, like, somewhere, like, wherever, Anarchista in Nashville, or not Nashville, but in Tennessee, in Pigeon Forge. They have the mining thing, like, where you can mine for your own crystals. And there's one in...
we did that in Julian, too.
Yeah, they have that in Julian. They have it everywhere. There's a great spot if you guys are in California and you guys are headed up to, like, on the 5... It's actually on the 5 and the 93 or something. I'm not sure. And oh my gosh, I forget the name of it.
What is the town?
Oh my gosh, it is the cutest little place, and they have the mining, and they have like a peacock. They have,
it's like look it up now.
It's oh my gosh, I cannot believe I don't know the name of it, because we always stop there, and it has like, it's a little store.
There's one in Arizona. Is it the one in Arizona?
No, these are the only two, I believe. Oh my god, what is it? I really want to look it up. Now I'm going to look it up, because if you're in California, you have to go to this place. It is so cute. Hold on, I'm going to kill myself whenever I hear it. Like, I'm going to kick myself in the ass.
Yeah, and then
once I look it up.
While she's looking it up, I'll tell you about Julian a little bit. So there's a town in Southern California. It's called Julian. It's kind of up in the mountains a little bit. And you get snow there, and they have a Julian mining company, I believe it's called. And Julian is known for its pies. So if you are ever there, you can get some pie. But basically, you buy like a bucket. And when I took my children, this was probably like, I don't know, 6 years ago or so. We paid $20 per bucket, and it's just like a bucket of dirt, like a big bucket, like a Home Depot size, bucket. And then they have all these little pans and these little, it's like a river. It's not a river. It's, made out of wood. What are those things called? I don't know.
The mining thing?
Yeah, the mining thing. And you can pan as long as you want, all day long. You can just sit there and pan your dirt. And you're guaranteed to get gems and rocks and stuff. And a lot of it, it's all raw. It's all raw from the mountains. None of it is polished or like, not spun, tumbled. And they let you know if you don't know what you have. They're very knowledgeable. They can be like, oh, this is a ruby. This is a emerald. This is turquoise. Like, whatever is native to the area. I don't remember what we got most of, but we did get, they even have fool's gold, and it was a lot of fun. They have a house there that's made out of bottles, so it's literally a house made out of bottles, and she found it.
I did. Bravo Farms in Kettleman City.
Ooh.
And it is amazing. And then there's another one, so there's the Bravo Farm there's one in Kettleman City, and I think that's the one on the 5. And then, literally 40 miles to the east on the 90-something freeway is another Bravo Farms.
Oh,
and
okay.
One is better than the other for different reasons. One does have the gold mining thing.
Ooh, I would want to do the gold.
Yeah, that one's really fun, and it has it's a store with all this old stuff in it. It's super cute. It's so cute. It's 2 stories. It looks all old fashioned. There's a place to eat and drink, and it's a great pit stop in the middle of fucking nowhere in California. And it has, almost like a petting zoo, but I don't think you can pet any of the animals. And that's one of them. The first one that we stopped at was this super chill, place. And it's still Bravo Farms, but one time, because you can go both ways.
Like the sister company.
They're owned definitely by the same people. And the other one had, and on the outside, it looks like an old town. It looks like an old town saloon.
Oh, yeah.
And you walk in, and then it's all connected.
Oh, cute.
And this other one had, where you go to the back, and it looks like an old town again. But the kids can go into the little houses and buildings, and it's all made of wood, and they can climb up in it almost like a play place, like a McDonald's play place.
Oh, it has a loft, and
all sorts of stuff, yeah. And it's crazy. There's slides in there, and there's the kids will get lost in there.
Oh, it's more than a hay loft or something. It's
it's a whole thing. I don't even think that my youngest has even been there yet. To this one, because now we go to the one with the animals and the gold farming thing.
You know that gold is from the sun?
What?
Gold is from the sun. No. I don't know how or why, but it has to do with the beginning of time. That gold is supposedly from the sun.
Oh, from flares from the sun or something?
Yeah.
Oh, I get that. Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't made by the sun, just reflecting on it.
No, it's literally came from the sun and traveled through space and landed on Earth and got buried over millions and whatever years.
Well, what happened was that the sun sent out a big ass solar flare, wiped out the dinosaurs, and now we have gold.
thought it was a meteor.
I don't fucking know. I was just joking.
It's probably aliens.
I don't know. I was going with you. Like I was going with it.
No, solar flare makes sense. I don't know. I have to look it up, but yeah.
No, it is supposed to be a meteor, but whatever. Yeah. I still like that. Okay, well, now that we did all that, do you have anything else to say?
No, I mean, just that there's definitely going to be a part 2 because Antarctica can be like a part 20 because there's so much to talk about Antarctica.
Just in general, it's just going to be a big...
Antarctica's going to keep coming up because guess what?
It's all connected.
It's all connected. And when we do our interview with our flat earther, we're going to talk a lot about Antarctica.
You think?
I know for a fact.
All right.
We're going to talk about the ice wall. It's going to be one of the main points. I bet you he's going to bring up. If he doesn't, I'm going to. That's Antarctica. It's just going to go on and on and on and on.
It is the continent that never ends. It goes on and on, my friend.
Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was. And they'll forever sing it because this is
Antarctica.
Antarctica that never ends.
Okay, well,
thank
you guys so much for... It's not our debut because we've sung a bunch on here.
That's our Antarctica debut.
Thank you guys so much for listening. And
yes, thank you so much. And do not forget to share, like, and subscribe. I hope that you all know you can subscribe to us on Facebook. Really, you can subscribe to us anywhere. But we would love it if you would. And don't forget to tell your friends, share, like, subscribe. And yeah,
email us at conspiraciesunlocked@gmail.com. Bye.